Hi Sagittarius, this is your 2015 horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com. For everyone who have their ascendant, sun or moon in Sagittarius, make sure you find out what your ascendant sign is, because this is what happens to you on the material level. The ascendant sign represents your physical body and where you are on your path in life. And you can find out your ascendant sign if you know the exact time of your birth. And you can go to my birth chart calculator at Astrolada.com and go to the planetary detail table, and you can see the ascendant sign, its degree. You can see the moon sign, which shows how you feel emotionally about what is happening to you. If you watch your moon sign prediction for 2015, a lot of women who are more feeling beings will resonate much strongly with their moon horoscope. Or you can listen to your sun horoscope, which everyone does. If you're born in part of July, for example, in part of December, you'll be Sagittarius. But this is the astrologically least, let's say, tangible of the three ones. So always start with the ascendant sign if you can. So what does it show? What does it hold for you, Sagittarius 2015? Let's start with the more difficult influences. For the past 2 years, Saturn, the planet of karma and blockages, has been finishing a cycle of 29 years in your life. And when the planet Saturn is like the finger of destiny. Whatever Saturn is in your horoscope, this is where the most important things are happening. This is where usually the biggest lessons in your life are happening. And Saturn spends in one house for about 2.5 years. And for the past 2 years, Saturn has been in your 12th house, which is the house of endings. The 12th house is the last house in the horoscope. And from 2015, Saturn will come into your sign, which hasn't happened in 29 years. So it will be such a huge event for Sagittarius for the next 3 years, 2015, 16, 17, when Saturn is in your own sign. But for now, for the past 2 years, Saturn has been in your 12th house, which means the finishing of a cycle. And when there is a finishing of a cycle, there is often people there, it's a little bit hard to move forward during this period. Even when people making plans, these plans cannot fully materialize in some way, because Saturn is the planet of materialization, of practical results. And when it's in the 12th house is the house of dissolution, is the last house. So it almost, some of you might have felt that in the last 2 years, especially if you're ascendant or if your moon is in Sagittarius, you might have felt like the efforts and the hard work that you put, or whatever things you try to influence, for things to happen, almost like they're falling into a bottomless pit, those efforts, and like you might not be seeing the results, so things might have felt a little bit blocked somehow. And this is, don't blame yourself for this, because when Saturn is in the 12th house, our discipline, our efforts, which is what Saturn is, our hard work, usually is kind of much more fated. The results of this are much more fated, not so much dependent on our own efforts, on our own willpower. Because 12th house is the most karmic fated house. When Saturn is there, we reap the consequences of actions of the past 29 years. We end certain things, we conclude the process, so starting new things can be much harder. We dissolve attachments to old people, to old possessions or situations, or attachments or preferences in our life, to old goals and ambitions in our life. So when these things are dissolved, it's very hard to focus and to manifest the new things you want into your life when Saturn is in the 12th house. Often, when Saturn is in the 12th house, we reap what we have sown. So basically, the events that happen around us have been put into action years ago. They're outside of us. We cannot influence them. So oftentimes people can feel helpless, or not helpless, but somehow, like they cannot do anything about it. Like the best thing when Saturn is in your 12th house is to let go and let God and go down with the flow. And a lot of people might have even been restricted in some way. 12th house rules hospitals, places of isolation, of people were enforced to work in more restricted environment, or were enforced to work in environment which was, more isolated, like libraries, or doing research in some way. Kind of being more behind the scenes, their efforts were more hidden. When a person does research, which is 12th house, you're, working behind the scenes, which is very much 12th house. Some people might have even been enforced to emigrate in distant lands, because 12th house rules distant lands. And Saturn is something that you're kind of forced to go there. You might not be your first preference. Maybe you are forced to go there because of work or because of other circumstances. But usually there is a sense like, okay, something is ending in my life. I have to let go of it. But I want something new, but I'm trying to do it, but it's not happening. So don't be hard on yourself if in the past 2 years you were trying to start different things and they were not fully working out as you wanted, or you might have felt blocked, or even your ambitions, material ambitions might have been kind of dissolved in a way. Your efforts might have dissolved, like thrown like an echo in the wind, you know. Because Saturn is in the 12th house. Material results are dissolved. Ending of a cycle. Don't start new things. End your things. I've seen also people have health problems when Saturn is in the 12th house. It's like reaping of karma. And that's why 12th house is the house like of imprisonment. And Saturn can imprison you within your own body or health problems. 12th house rules the sleep. And often people have when Saturn goes in the 12th house might have had problems with their sleep as well. Might have had problems resting enough and feel often tired. There is a very strong sense of being tired and overworked, or somehow not having been able to sleep well. When Saturn is in the 12th house, tiredness, because it's the ending of a process, it's the ending of a 29-year-old cycle. A lot of conclusions happen, a lot of wrapping up of things. And Saturn will be again for a little bit in your 12th house this year, from around, June to around September. So some of those themes can come back again to you for the 12th house. But gradually Saturn is going into your first house, which means it's going into your sign Sagittarius. For the first time in 29 years, it's a huge thing. And it's going to be there in 2015 for the big part of 2015, excluding the period from June till September, from the whole of 2016 and the whole of 2017, almost the whole, like a big part of 2017. So almost 3 years ahead, you'll have Saturn in your sign. So all of a sudden, things were blocked for you, but now you can start new beginnings. And not all Sagittarius will immediately start the new beginnings from when Saturn goes into Sagittarius from the beginning of 2015. Some might have waited till Saturn passes exactly over the degree of their sun or their ascendant or their moon. But the ground is already set. You might start doing preparatory steps. For some of you, Saturn might go exactly over your ascendant or over your moon in 2016. Some of you, 2017. Some of you, it will happen already in 2015. And who are those people? Those who are basically born in the first 6 degrees, who have their ascendant or their moon from 0 till 6, almost 7 degrees in Sagittarius. 0, the first 7 degrees in Sagittarius. They have new beginnings in their life starting from 2015. Even from the last month or two of 2014, they'll feel it. But 2015 is a year of new beginnings for them, ending of old things. If you are wrapping up things for the past 2 years now, Saturn transits your ascendant or your moon, you really separate yourself for things which are no longer valid in your life, from things which are no longer productive in your life, from things or people or situations which you no longer want to waste your time on. Because Saturn passing your ascendant, your moon, or your sun, if your sun is from 0 till 7 degrees in Sagittarius, which means that you are born from around the 23rd of November till the 30th of November. So November-born Sagittarius will feel Saturn influence this year, while the December-born Sagittarius will feel these new beginnings in their life and the beginning of a new cycle and the ability to actually start making changes in their life and not being stuck till now like in the 12th house when Saturn was there. They'll be able to start those new beginnings, the December-born Sagittarius or those with ascendant or moon after 7 degrees from 2016 or from the late part of 2015 in 2016 or even 2017. But those November-born Sagittarius and those with ascendant or moon from 0 to 6, 7 degrees from 2016, new beginnings in their life. So basically when Saturn transits your first house, is like birthing process. It's a painful thing. I don't want to pamper you. I don't want to, to promise you roses and flowers. I'm a bit like a too much realistic astrologer. Because when you are putting the new foundations and beginning the new life, it's like giving birth to a baby. It's not easy. It might take 24 hours, might take 3 years for those birthing process. It might take you, usually the birthing process is while Saturn is transiting exactly the degree of the Sun, Moon or Ascendant, which continues for about 1 year, the whole process. So 1 year you might feel overwhelmed, you might feel like giving up, you might feel like it's beyond your strength, you might feel you are overpowered, you might feel like, no, I can't do it, it's too much responsibility, it's too much pressure, I'm afraid, you know, or it's too much hard work. But persevere, persevere, because Saturn, you know, rewards hard work, rewards not only hard work, but try not to get there faster. Try to do all the necessary steps. Check everything. Do it slowly. Don't rush things. Do it the traditional, acceptable way. Don't go into get rich schemes. Don't go into get quickly ahead in life schemes. If you have to start from the bottom, if you're starting a new career, you most likely have to start from the bottom. If you're starting a new relationship, a lot of times I've seen when Saturn transit ascendant, people leave marriages that are no longer productive, start living on their own, have to rely on themselves, have to become mature and independent, because first house is the self, and Saturn teaches you self-discipline. Or I've seen that women who are in childbearing age often become pregnant and have children when Saturn transits the ascendant, because Saturn in the first house is all about new beginnings and giving birth to a baby is new beginning, and Saturn tends to, you know, kind of put restrictions on the movement of a person and require a lot of hard work and a lot of self-discipline, and this is exactly what a mother does. But you know, the rewards are tremendous. The first year of a child's life, it's so difficult, like the mothers are most of the time exhausted and upset. But you know, the rewards are so great, just like the first year of starting a new business. Often when Saturn transits the first house, within the next 2-3 years, many of you will start a new business, a new chapter in their life, a new career, a new relationship. Something that is totally shifts their energy, something that totally... I'm not saying starting from ground zero, but on some levels you might have to. And it doesn't have to be on all levels in your life. It doesn't have to be in relationship, career, and everything else. It can be in one big type of area of your life, but usually we get very serious, very responsible. We try to take care of ourselves on our own. If till now someone was taking care of ourselves, now the responsibility falls on our shoulders. We are asked to be adults, to be responsible, to be hardworking, to be very moral and ethical, and basically to do the job that is required from us with our most conscientiousness. And usually the results for this hard work come after Saturn moves away from your ascendant sign. So from 2016, 17, whatever, this is when you start seeing the results of your hard work. So the new beginnings for the next 2-3 years, for everyone who have their ascendants on the moon, there will be a great reality check, things which are no longer valid. You totally separate yourselves from those things, whether it's career, whether it's ambitions, whether it's people, whether it's place of living. People often relocate as well. But it's not easy. There is a strong sense of loneliness. There is a strong, especially if your moon is in Sagittarius and Saturn transited, people often can feel quite lonely, unsupported, emotionally a little bit more down, you know. But these periods when Saturn starts a new beginning, they make us become so strong after that. They make us become independent and self-reliant. This feels a bit like a dark period when Saturn is in the first house, because of all the responsibilities put on us, because the fear of the future, what's happening. But every beginning is hard, you know. So don't worry. I mean, it's tough and it's testing, and Saturn likes to test you, how dedicated you are to an idea, how dedicated you are to a relationship, how dedicated you are to career, or whatever. If you're in the right relationship, if you're in the right career, if you're in the right place of life, these places will be just tested. You'll be given much more responsibilities, but they will stay in your life. But if they're not the right ones, Saturn will remove them, whether you want it or not. And don't be sad for those things too long, you know. Don't grieve too much, because if whatever is removed from your life while Saturn is passing through your sign, this is no longer useful for you. Often the person makes the choice themselves what to remove. But sometimes we're a bit blind to what is blocking our development, so the universe takes it away, and this is when it can hurt more. But eventually you realize that the universe took it away so it can make place for something better, you know. So this is what happens when Saturn is in the first house, and you're required to gain the best way for Saturn when it transits your ascendant, sun, or moon, is to work hard, to give the best of yourself, not to be hard on yourself. Don't be too negative, because people tend to become more negative, more judgmental, because Saturn wants you to be very serious and take things seriously, not as a game, so you can become mature and responsible. But sometimes people overdo the Saturnian feelings. They allow Saturn to smash them too much, and they feel too bad about themselves, so self-pity or depression, or if you're susceptible to depression, because it's a heavy energy. It's an energy of facing reality, responsibility, getting down to the dirty work, getting it done, building the foundation of your new life for the next 29 years is going to affect you after that. So, anyway, I don't want to scare you. A lot of good things come out when Saturn is the first house, like women getting pregnant, like people starting university. And it's difficult periods like that when you have to self-support yourself, or when you have to starting a new career, starting a new life somewhere, you know. But it's not necessarily something bad. If you've been stuck and you've been feeling for the past 2-3 years, you've been feeling like things have to end, it's no longer good like that, you've been detaching, dissolving attachments to past things, now you're ready for new beginning. You know, you are ready. Especially those people that I mentioned, the new beginnings come for them in 2015. No matter how hard it gets, you're laying the foundation of your new life. And then let's see where Jupiter is. Actually, thankfully, Jupiter will be supporting a lot of Sagittarius. You know, those early born Sagittarius that I mentioned, they're having Saturn for sure in 2015. You know, these new beginnings in the hard way, through hard work, through perseverance, separations from the past. But the other Jupiters born in December, the other Sagittarius born in December have a really auspicious influence in 2015. They're not feeling the difficult Saturn transit yet, the Saturn, you know, in the first house. They'll be feeling Jupiter instead. So there is like space for growth and optimism and feeling much better and picking themselves up. And some of their plans and goals, if till now, with Saturn in the 12th house, they were feeling like they don't have much influence over things, how to happen, or a little bit blocked. Now Jupiter in 2015, those of you who are born with Ascendant or Moon in Sagittarius from 11 till 30 degrees, 11 till 30 degrees Sagittarius, or basically if you're born when the Sun was, when basically December, from December the 4th till December the 23rd, in 2015 till August, Jupiter is helping you. Maybe not the whole period, but at a certain period from the beginning of 2015 till August 2015, Jupiter will help those December-born Sagittarius or 11 to 30 degrees Ascendant or Moon to fulfill some of your goals, to make you feel more optimistic, more happy, to open more easily doors for you, for things to happen. Even though Saturn, you know, but thankfully Saturn is already coming out of your 12th house, so it's no longer blocking the fulfillment of, you know, new beginnings. So Jupiter can help give you a kickstart before Saturn comes for you 2016 and 17. So you can kind of prepare yourself in 2015, those December-born Sagittarius and those with the degrees that I mentioned. 2015, like the universe gives you a head start with the help of Jupiter, the great benefic planet, till August 2015, a head start to prepare for new beginnings that comes for you from the end of 2015 or 2016 or part of 2017. So it's a good time to save some money, or it's a good time when Jupiter is helping you, you know, to make sure you stabilize things somehow, to prepare yourself, to get some inspiration, some ideas. Whatever opportunities come to you, accept them because they're positive. They're going to help you for a smoother transition into the new beginning later on. And Jupiter, for all Sagittarius now, is actually in your 9th house since August, since July 2014 till August 2015, for about 1 year. This is your planet. Whatever your planet is, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Whatever your planet is, there is a great focus of energy there in your life. And 9th house is the house of travel, so maybe some of you traveled a lot, and you have the opportunity to travel till August 2015. If you're trying to get a visa and you've been blocked for a while, Jupiter in the 9th house till August makes things possible for you to get a visa or to move more freely to another country. It will benefit any relationships when Jupiter is in your 9th house with foreigners, with highly erudite and educated people. It can improve relationship with mentors or father figure. If you've had problem with your father till August 2015, and actually from the end of the summer of 2014, when Jupiter went into your ninth house, you've had the chance to improve those relationships with authority figures, with higher standing figures, with foreigners, or maybe to benefit from such relationship, from mentor figures. Ninth house is the house of good advice. The good advice that God sends to you through its messengers. Its messengers can be anyone. It might be the TV you switch on. It might be a friend of yours, or a child that comes, or a proper mentor at your work or in your life that comes, or a proper guru. But it can be anyone. Pay attention to the advice that you receive now, because it's a good one. It comes from God straight. You know, it comes from your higher self. People often, when Jupiter is in the ninth house, is the higher mind, the ninth house, and somehow Jupiter there helps them see the bigger picture, see how the pieces of the puzzle fit, and make plans for the future. So a lot of people get a lot of new ideas and ideals to follow, and long-term goals and big plans and ambitions that they structure, that they formulate, that they get inspired with while Jupiter is in the ninth house. And often they receive very valuable advice or inspiration directly from God to some people in their life. They appear in their life like benefactors. They appear in their life like gurus, like mentors, like inspiration. It's great to read inspirational books on the biographies of strong people that you admire, or books on people who succeeded, and just get ideas from there. When Jupiter is in the ninth house, God shows you your higher mind. If the third house, which is opposite, is your lower mind, the mind that we think with on a daily basis, that we rationalize with, ninth house is the mind connected to God, your higher self, what is best for you, what God wants for you, what will make you most fulfilled and happy and most successful and joyful, because ninth house is the house of luck as well. So you might get some great ideas till August, Sagittarius, in where you're supposed to be, to get some clarity about your path in life, which can very much help you when you're starting the new beginning in your life with Saturn coming sometime within the next 3 years. Can help you have an idea where you want to do, what you want to do with your life, where you want to head. So Jupiter will definitely inspire you, give you clarity, give you, show you the path. Ninth house is a dharmic house, which means that, and Jupiter is a dharmic planet. So when it's in the ninth house, it shows that this is the periods in your life when God corrects your path. If you veered off the path that your soul chose, people start getting unlucky. People start feeling lost. People start, you know, they lose their path, basically. And even if you've gone and become a president of the United States, but, well, or say some very well-accomplished person in the field, but if this is not your true path, if you're supposed to be a gardener, you have this realization when Jupiter comes into your ninth house. You'll have a realization that your true strength or your true vocation or your true dharma, the path that will lead you to most happiness, is to be something else. And then, thankfully, hopefully, when Saturn passes your ascendance on the moon within the next 3 years, you'll be able to start doing that and working in that direction. So whatever ideas you're getting now with Jupiter in your ninth house till August, pay attention. This is the way God talks to you. This is the way your higher self is trying to direct you in the right path. Or whatever inspirations come to you, you know. Higher education is also very auspicious when Jupiter is in the ninth house. People often can start on a new course. You can start studying something. They can have very positive results when they're studying there. If you're thinking of starting a higher education or expanding education, now is a fantastic time for you, Sagittarius. If you're traveling somewhere as well, it's auspicious time for you when Jupiter is in the ninth house. Faraway countries usually. It's not necessarily relocating, but it's like Jupiter in the ninth house is expanding your mind through cultural exchange, through traveling, through seeing new places. And seeing new horizons. Not, you know, Jupiter there will help you feel unstuck a little bit from that energy of Saturn in the 12th house from the past 2 years when you were feeling blocked for some reason or when things were not happening. Jupiter will give you inspiration for the new beginning. Okay, then Jupiter moves into your 10th house, Sagittarius, from August 2015 till August 2016 for 1 year. 10th house is social status and career. So in that 1 year period from next August, you might get a job, new job. You see how it kind of corresponds with the other influence, Saturn in your first house for many of you. How Saturn means new beginnings, and Jupiter in the 10th house can help you open doors to get a new career, to get a new social status, to change your social status. Saturn, the 10th house is the social status. 10th house is considered almost like a second first house, like a second ascendant there, because it's so important, you know. So when both Saturn and Jupiter are in these two important houses, it means that especially from August 2015, it will be a very important year for you till August 2016. Two planets on angles in your horoscope make things move and change and things happening in your life, because the angular houses, 1st and 10th, are houses of manifestation of things. If till now maybe you're a bit blocked or a bit lost, now Saturn comes into your 1st house, Jupiter from August goes into your 10th house, things start moving and you start seeing results, material results as well. While Jupiter is in your 9th house, you get more like inspiration and ideas and seeing the big picture, make the plan. When Jupiter goes into a 10th house, you start fulfilling this plan, working on those projects. So career gets a great boost. You can start a career, you can start a business project, you can receive more authority in society in some way, more recognition. So use it wisely. Okay, so I think this is what it is for you, Sagittarius. A very interesting year. You have also Neptune transit, those of you who are born, what is it, from 5 to 11 degrees. That's a different trend that runs simultaneously for the whole 2015. If you have ascendant from 5 to 11 degrees, it almost covers a few of the degrees for the people who have Saturn return. And let's say, I think from 6 degrees to 11, basically if you are born from around the 30th to around the 4th of December. So this is the only group we didn't mention, because they didn't have either Saturn nor Jupiter influence. They're having Neptune transit in 2015, and Neptune on the ascendant, Sun and Moon can make people dream a bit more, be a bit more lost. This is a once-in-a-lifetime transit. It's kind of makes you dream, get lost with the fairies, a little bit less motivated. Very good for spiritual people, very good for artistic and creative people. But for people who are practical and materialistic, they feel a bit lost. They feel a bit exhausted. They feel a bit, their dreams and motivations, like, you know, kind of get dissolved as well. It's very spiritual but not material influence. So trying to make material things happen might be very difficult. Trying to keep a routine, trying to have some order in their life can be difficult. People with addictions can become more prone to escaping reality when Neptune is around, to seeing, you know, to falling in love infatuatedly without seeing the reality, to being more susceptible to be used and allowing others to take advantage of them. So it's good to have good counsel. But if you want to know, to learn more about Neptune transits and what they mean and how to overcome them, you can go to my birth chart calculator and look below. Once you fill in your table, your details, and you see your charts, look below those charts. There's transits for the next 3 years. All your most important transits. And you can listen to specifically for you. No one else will have the same transits. You can see exactly on which days, which months these transits will be active, what they mean, and how to tackle them. I've made short 20 minutes video for each, you know, which are very, like £1.99. So anyway, thank you so much, Sagittarius. And good luck on this new journey that you're starting now. Wow. Thank you.